Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Draft Day Sports Pro Football 22 with the New York Jets. And we get an extra video this week as it is Wild Card Weekend, and I'm in the football mood. Even though my Patriots got absolutely obliterated, I am in a football mood, so we are going to do an extra Draft Day Sports Pro Football video this week, and this episode will be the off-season. We'll still have the regular video on Wednesday, but wanted to get an extra one in for you guys today. So let's do that. So if you remember, we finished our season 5-12. We ended on a 3-game losing streak, but prior to that, we had won 5 out of 6 with that first win. The second to last game we played against Buffalo. And yeah, we won 5 out of 6. It was a good stretch there. Stumbled a bit down the stretch, including getting absolutely trucked by the Bills in the final game of the season, 52-0. We have a couple of pieces. Alfredo Bolt was the top overall pick in the draft a year ago. Ruben O'Keefe was our second round pick, first pick at the top of the second round. O'Keefe had a great season, 10 sacks. Alfredo Bolt was okay. He wasn't terrific, but I think a lot of that was probably weapons around him. You can see he wasn't all that great, only threw 7 touchdowns. QB rating, where is it, the QB rating of 72.8. So yeah, not great, but big kid, 6'5", 258 pounds, 24 years old. And there are a couple of weapons around him. Michael Carter, 23-year-old, is pretty darn good. We have Corey Davis as our #1 wide receiver. We also drafted Kenneth Patterson and traded for Kenneth Erickson. So we have a couple of young wide receivers. Ronald Marcotte is a rookie tight end who had a terrific season at 21 years old, 63 catches, 740 yards, 5 touchdowns is our 3rd round pick. So we added some pieces, and the offseason this year is just going to be more of the same. I mean, the only position I think we're going to avoid potentially drafting will be quarterback and maybe wide receiver, unless there's an absolute can't-miss prospect where we are picking. But yeah, we're pretty set at quarterback, I think. We better be. I mean, he signed long-term for a lot of money. I mean, if it's football, so he can be cut without losing anything. But a good arm, good intelligence, good accuracy. So I'm confident that he will continue to improve. My only concern is that he was 23 years old when we drafted him, so he's a little bit on the old side. But we're going to get to the offseason, and we're going to see, and we should have a ton of cap space to bring in some free agents as well. So let's go ahead and advance. Let's get to season start. The first thing we'll have to do is staff signing. I don't know if we have any staff that we need to sign. Nope. So our offensive coordinator is pretty solid. Our D coordinator is pretty solid. Could go without a new head coach, but he's making $6 million a year for the next 3 years. I don't want to have to pay him for that money and not have him coach, so we'll continue to just let him go. Hopefully our coaches don't get poached here. Let's make sure that nobody got taken from us. Nope, we're good there. So we had a 4-game improvement from year 1 to year 2. We were 1-17 in our 1-16 in our first season, 5-12 in our second. So it's RFA. I have yet to see an RFA in any of the games I've played. So you can see there's just nothing. So we have $60 million in cap space. That should, in theory, go pretty far for us, especially if we're smart. So let's take a look and see what we've got for free agents. Okay, I mean, there's not a ton here, which is a good thing. I mean, it means that the teams are signing their own players, and that's really what I want. So let's look at where do we want to? Let's look at our roster, I guess, and see what we need. So we are set at quarterback. We could use a 3rd quarterback, but I'm not really worried about that right this second. Running back, we don't need a running back, but you know, if we can find one on the cheap, fine. Maybe that's something we wait for the preseason. We're set at fullback. We are pretty set at guard with Van Roten and Vera Tucker. I'm not thrilled about Van Roten. That might be a position of upgrade, although we have James Montañez, who we drafted in the 7th round last year, and I mean, he's already a 74 at 22. We're, again, tackle potentially needs some help there. Edoga's cheap. Mekhi Becton. So maybe a guard and a tackle. We're fine at center. We're fine at tight end. We are fine at wide receiver. Cornerbacks, Lattimore and Hall are our top 2 backs. Michael Carter's our 2. I think we're okay at cornerback as well. We have 6 cornerbacks over a 70 rating. Linebacker, CJ, linebacker is definitely a position of need. We only have 4 linebackers on the roster, and only Mosley and Cashman are any good. So linebacker may be something we target in free agency. Defensive tackle, Quinnen Williams is pretty solid, but again, we could use some help there. Defensive end, Lawson and O'Keefe. This is the last year on Lawson. He may end up getting moved. We'll see what happens in the draft, or right before the draft. But yeah, so defensively, the defensive line, Ashton Davis is our, we could use a free safety, and we're pretty good at strong safety. So really, the front 7, defensive tackle, defensive end, linebacker, maybe a guard, a tackle, and potentially a free safety. But I think primarily we're going to be looking defense in both the draft and free agency. So let's do that. I think first things first, linebacker is going to be the key. So what do we have available for linebackers? Chris Barnes, that looks to probably be the best option. An 86 tackle, 76 speed. So he's got the best tackle, one of the highest speed ratings. What does he want? He wants 8 to 10. So we're going to actually give him 3 years, $12 million a year, which is more than what he's asking for. Hopefully that's enough to bring him in. We may come back and look at another linebacker if we're able to sign Barr. D tackle and D end. We could make a run at J.J. Watt, and he wants $20 million. What does Tomlinson want? 11 to 13. And not a lot of great names in here. Tier Tart. I mean, that's a great name, but I don't know that he's a great player. 83 strength, kind of middle of the pack. 57 tackling. Not a lot of great options on the defensive line. We may run with what we have or see if we can pick up something in the draft. What about free safeties? Some good depth, but again, not anything. I mean, Micah Hyde's pretty good, but he's 32. Stephen Parker is 27. 70 tackling, 54 hands. Ooh, maybe it's Darian Thompson. His tackling is pretty good, speed's pretty good, hands are pretty good. What does he want? But is he better than Ashton Davis? Tackling, speed, hands. I mean, he's better at some things. He's not a better tackler, and his hands, he's faster, but his hands aren't as good and his tackling aren't as good, which seem to me to be important important features of a safety. What about the agility? 69 for Thompson, 82 for Davis. So Davis is more of a speed safety, where Darian Thompson looks to be a little bit more of a kind of box safety, if you will. So let's go over to offensive linemen. Nate Herbig, 73 pass block, 73 run block. Yeah, I mean, what's Van Roten? 78 and 83. 78 and 83. Montañez is 79, 76. Yeah, Montañez is actually better than most of these guys here. So I don't know that we need to spend money in free agency on an offensive lineman, because I think Montañez is probably ready to step into that role. In fact, we might try to trade Van Roten at the draft. I mean, where else do we want to look? No real strong safeties. Wide receivers, not really any good wide receivers. Tight ends. We don't really need a tight end. Running back, I mean, maybe running back is that position. Maybe we do invest a little money in a well, maybe not Kareem Hunt. I mean, why not? 70 strength, 88 agility, 93 speed, 70 hands. Last season, 310 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns, caught 10 balls for 87 yards. 70 strength, 88 agility, 93 speed, 70 hands. I mean, Kareem Hunt is really good. He only wants 1 year. I mean, we have the money to spend. Would he take 2 years, heavily front-loaded? Do I want to do that? Would he take 2 years front-loaded like that? I mean, let's try that. And I guess, let's go back to linebacker. I mean, maybe we try to make another linebacker signing here. So who are the best tacklers? Alexander Johnson, James Waddle, but he's a 66 overall. Kunachik, or Kunasik, I guess. Not very smart. Good tackler, good speed, good hands. He's 26. Wants 5.7 to 7.3. I mean, that seems like a pretty decent option. Mac Wilson, 76 tackling, 73 speed. Darren Lee, 76 tackling, 79 speed. Who are the fastest? Darren Lee is the fastest. Blake Lynch. Did he play for us? No, he doesn't have any stats at all. Okay. So he hasn't signed with anybody yet. 73 tackling, 75 speed, 55 hands. And he wants, yeah, I mean, that seems like a reasonable contract for a backup linebacker. And again, we'll go front-loaded because we have so much money this season that we can afford to do that. And I'll just give him what he's asking for. All right, so let's see how these 3 go. I feel like we should try to do something on the defensive line here, but Nathan Shepard. What happened there? What happened there? Why did it do that? Let's just get back in there. Let's go back to defensive tackles and linemen. Oh, I know why it did that. Because, okay. So Shepard has got 61 tackling, 59 speed. He's 29 years old. What was that? What were those numbers? 61 tackling, 59 speed. So you look at someone like Jaron Reed as a 70 tackle. So 60 was 61 and 59, correct? 61 tackling, 59 speed, yeah. 61 tackling, 59 speed. So he's not particularly good. Better than Tart, though. Better than Tart. 69 tackling, or 59, yeah, 61 tackling, 59 speed. So I'm looking for someone who's got ratings that are in that range. 61 tackling. I mean, Tomlinson's really solid. 75 tackling up the middle. Sorry, I got to move away from my mic here a little bit. Ooh, bad throw by Garoppolo. Watching the 49ers and the Cowboys at the moment. And another turnover. Wow, that's 2 turnovers in the last 2 possessions by the 49ers. They are giving this one away. Emmanuel Ogbah. 68 tackles, 72 speed. I think Ogbah wants 3 years. I don't want to give him 3 years. I'll give him 2 years, and we'll bump this up a little bit and see if he's interested in that. All right. So Chris Barnes, Hunt, Lynch, and Ogbah. We'll see if any of those contracts get taken. Though I'm hoping for Burns. If we can sign Barnes and Hunt, I'll be pretty happy with that. So let's see what we get here. No one signed after day 1. Ogbah signed with Tampa Bay. Barnes signed with the Saints. Damn it. And Hunt signed with the Steelers. So we got nothing. We got absolutely nothing there. Damn. Well, that's disappointing. So what's plan B? Is it Eric Wilson, 82 tackling, 74 speed? I mean, Jerry QUARLES is better than that, and he's only 23. So we didn't sign anybody that we wanted there. We didn't sign anybody that we wanted to go after there. That's really disappointing. From a running back perspective, Perrine, 83 speed, 60 hands, 65 strength. Carter's, yeah, we need more of a bruising style back, maybe a bit of a more of a grinding type back. David Johnson, getting up there in age, but 68 strength, 83 speed. He's not very quick anymore, but or do we just go after Fournette? Fournette wants 3 years. I don't want to give... No. I don't want to spend money just to spend it. Like, that seems like a waste to me. Are there any... I just want to see other quarterbacks. Oh, we need a backup quarterback. A third-string quarterback would probably be beneficial to us. That way we don't have to worry about it in the draft. I would imagine some of these guys will be available for the next round of free agency, though. Duvernay Tardif played for us last season. We signed him to a contract in the... we signed him to a $500,000 contract in spring training, or the preseason, I guess. Doga, 76 and 82. 76 and 82. Yeah, I'm not overly impressed by the free agent pool this year. I'm a little bit frustrated that I wasn't able to sign anybody that we were looking at there. We may really have to focus on linebackers in the draft, which is something I was not expecting to do. So maybe we do make a run at Tomlinson because, I mean, we can. All right, so we'll take a run at DALVIN Tomlinson, see if we can sign him. Look at defensive ends again. J.J. Watt. I mean, I'd love to bring in Watt, but it seems unnecessary right now. Brandon Graham, he's 35. Yeah, no, I don't want to bring in Brandon Graham. Free safeties. Micah Hyde doesn't want a lot of money. He wants a long-term deal, but again, it's not unreasonable in the NFL because you can always just cut it. So maybe let's offer Micah Hyde a 3-year, heavily front-loaded deal like that. And let's see if we can get Tomlinson or Hyde. Okay, so we get Tomlinson. So that's a good one. So we do pick up DALVIN Tomlinson to stick on our front line. I will take that. Hopefully we can get a... Nope. Roberts, Lindsey, and Pochich. Okay, so we only signed DALVIN Tomlinson in that first round of free agency. But it's something. We shore up the front seven for sure. Let's go to scouting. And the first thing we need to do is take a look at linebackers. Oh, there are no top 10 linebackers. That's really disappointing. So we'll scout. I think we'll scout all the first and second round line. Oh, do I want to do it that way? All right, so this is going to take me a couple minutes. So I'm gonna put in my scouting points while I'm not recording, and I'll come back here in a minute and I'll show you guys what I did when it was all done. So I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. And I scouted primarily the higher rounds, first, second, and then sprinkling of some third round free safeties and linebackers and whatnot. Not really fussed beyond the fourth round, and we'll see what we can find. But we have a first, a second, a pair of thirds, I think a fourth, and a pair of fifths. So not a ton of draft picks, but enough that we should be able to Should be able to make should be able to make some improvements to our roster here, and then we have the second half of free agency. And there wasn't a whole lot left, but we have the second half of free agency. So let's go ahead and advance. We don't need to watch that. And let's just do the first couple of picks. First pick is QUARLES, Antonio QUARLES, a defensive tackle, 82 overall. I think there were 3 defensive tackles in the top 10 selected to go. Second is Marlowe, Preston Marlowe, the quarterback, 76 overall. Next pick is the Saints. They're going to take Boyd, Ronald Boyd. There's another defensive tackle gone. The fourth pick is Murray, James Murray, a quarterback. He doesn't look like a quarterback, but apparently he is a quarterback, 81 overall, and it is now our pick. So let's go to the war room. Malcolm Burt is who they think we should take. Our OC suggests Albert Brown. We don't need a quarterback. So we got a couple players in the top 10 here. We have Eugene Nehara. Good defensive rating. Physique, athleticism, technique are all average. And nothing there screams top 10 pick to me, although I could just be completely misunderstanding the ratings. John Smith, not a team player, but a sporty player. Good hands, decent speed, tackling's not great. Athleticism, A+. I kind of like him. A couple of guards. We could use a guard. John Massey, C- pass blocking and run blocking. Lloyd Bottoms, C and C-. But B+ physique, B+ IQ, B+ intangibles. And then this is the linebacker they thought we should take, Malcolm Burt. Good intangibles, good IQ, C- technique. I mean, the scout grades are all good. I'm not thrilled with the tackling, the speed, or the hands. Charismatic pragmatist. I don't even know what that means. All right. So. And then we have Mark Sorensen, who's the other defensive tackle. So for me, I think it comes down to either, was it Nehara? Excuse me. John Smith. I think we're going to go with our scouts, ratings. I love all the scout grades. I mean, the technique, I guess, can be taught, especially with the high work ethic. But he's competitive. He's a team player, sporty, values playing time. He's got good morale. The D coordinator grade is pretty good. And we need linebackers. So I think we go with Malcolm Burt. Keep our fingers crossed. All right, so let's go back to the show. And Malcolm Burt is a 74 overall. Not great, but I think, 77 tackling, 74 speed. Let's see what they say about it, and then we'll go back and we'll look at his decent selection. They picked up a guy that will help their team out. Let's see what the other guy says. Let's see what the other guy says. Like the pick, solid and safe. All right, so before we get to our next pick, however, I want to try to trade Greg Van Roten. So we need a team that's got $6 million in cap space. Arizona has $6 million in cap space. Do you need a guard? You kind of do. You kind of do. So would you want Greg Van Roten for like a couple of draft picks? A lot more than what we're offering. A lot more than what we're offering. Just a tad more. So maybe not a third, but maybe like 4th, 5th, 6th. A lot more. So maybe we can do this. Maybe we can... Can we move up from the 5th and get your 2nd? Yep. Okay, so that works. So we now have 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. And we move another $6 million off of our payroll. Not that we need the money, but let's go ahead and go up to our next pick. Pause and see where we stand. All right, so Quinn Jones, Kenneth McManus, Emmanuel Scribner is where they think we should go with this. John Eastman, C- running pass blocking, C- run blocking. Good physique, good athleticism, techniques a little meh. Football IQ and the intangibles, all this stuff is not good. I don't like that. Samuel Lassiter, good physique, good IQ, good intangibles. Tackling is garbage, speed is average. Sean Reed. Okay, it's a little better. Good technique, good football IQ. Tackling's a C, speed is a B. Sean Reed doesn't look like a terrible pick here. Acuna. Work ethic, competitiveness. Speed is a B-. Pass blocking C-. Run blocking D-. Coleman, he's 24. He's not as good. Dallas Stillwell, F, pass blocking. That's not going to get it done. Douglas Briggs. Technique, that's a safe pick. He's pretty average across the board. Strength, intelligence, tackling, speed, and hands. Good technique, good football IQ. Intangibles are pretty good. And who do they want us to take? Quinn Jones or Emmanuel Scribner? So let's look at those guys real quick. Quinn Jones is a third-round pick. Scribner is a second. Tackling C-, hands F, football IQ. Yeah, I don't want him now. What about Quinn Jones? See the one I just looked at? Quinn Jones. Yeah, those are the two that I just looked at. So let's go back to all positions. Think we go Sean Reed. C tackling, B speed. I think we're going to go, while not elite, speed is good enough, contains with good leverage, rarely lets people go. His speed is a B. That's not awful. Lassiter's speed is a C. His strength is a C. Sean Reed's strength is a C-. So he's not particularly strong and he's not particularly fast. We've got Douglas Briggs, A football IQ, A+ technique, C strength, C tackling, C- speeds. Maybe it's Briggs. Maybe Briggs is our pick here. 22-year-old, 6'3", 294 pounds out of NIU. We do need a free safety. A+ technique, B football IQ, B intangibles, C strength, C tackling, D speed. I think he'll be there. The grade isn't as good as I'd like. He's driven by the love of the sport. Coaches like his technique when tackling. Good work ethic and competitiveness. I'm hoping maybe he'll be there with our next pick, with our next second-round pick. I think we go Sean Reed, the speed rusher out of Clemson, 20 years old, 6'2", 284. Let's go back to the war room or back to the show and see. There we go. Okay. That's all right. Second round, 76 overall. I will take that. All right. So it is our pick again. And Doherty is still there. They still think we should take Jones or Scribner. Doherty, I'm not sold on him. Good work ethic, good competitiveness. Only C tackling out of a free safety, but A+ technique, B football IQ, B intangibles. He's pretty good. pretty good. He's not very fast, but he's pretty good. But we do need offensive linemen. We do need an offensive lineman, and Matthew Farley, A+ athleticism, B intangibles, C- pass blocking and run blocking, B speed. He's not very strong, though. This kid is already a good blocker in the running game. He'll only get better as he refines his takes. Yeah, we're gonna take Matthew Farley, a 20-year-old guard out of Brown. Let's go back to the show, see how that pick was. All right, another good pick. 2nd round, 9th overall, 74 overall. So what is that, 76, 76, 74 out of our first 3 picks? So let's go to the next pick, which is in the 3rd round. And they still think we should take Jones or Scribner or a quarterback. Again, I don't think we need a quarterback. We'll be able to sign one. Yeah, these are all undrafted guys. I'm not interested in that. Chang Jones, a D- run blocking and pass blocking. George Waugh's not terrible. Oh, yeah, I mean, he kind of is, but Aaron Morse, F tackling out of a linebacker. You love that. And that free safety's gone. So there's Scribner with his C- tackling, A football IQ, B physique, C strength, B- intelligence. And he's not very fast, and his intangibles are kind of crappy. Here we have A physique, C strength, C- agility, C speed, D- tackling. Who was the other one? Quinn Jones. D- tackling. Yeah, I don't understand why they think he's so good. I mean, I'm not averse to taking another linebacker here. But I think it might be, he's 23.1, 25.7. Yeah, okay, so Scribner maybe is the better option here. His work ethic isn't fantastic, but good intelligence, decent enough tackling, good football IQ. Emmanuel Scribner out of Michigan. Come on down. Let's see what that pick was. 71 overall. Okay, not great, but, you know, that's 4 picks over 70, so I'll take it. Let's go to the next human pick. We should have another 3rd round pick here coming up. We do. Yep, right there. Now they all think we should take quarterbacks, which I'm not going to do. Morse. Maybe it's Chan. Oh. He's really strong and really agile. He's got good athleticism, good football IQ. Chang Jones actually doesn't look that bad. Really strong, really agile, really fast. So if the intangibles work and it's a C intangibles, it's not great. He could be decent with that speed, strength, and agility. So Chang Jones will be our 2nd 3rd round pick. Let's get back to the show. 66 overall. Okay, not great. Not great, but yeah, 51, 56 pass blocking, run blocking. He's still got a couple of years here, but decent speed, good agility, and really super high strength. And they like the pick we made. They like the pick we made, so cool. All right, well, let's get to our next pick then. 4th round. And let's look at the team recap. So we've got Malcolm Burt, Sean Reed, Matthew Farley, Emmanuel Scribner, and Chang Jones. Is there any position that we need other than quarterback? No. So we're really just looking at sort of best on the board. It could help us to pick up a free safety, maybe another D lineman. Gennaro Galloway. B athleticism, B intangibles, C- IQ, C- physique, D+ tackling. Jesus Mann. Yeah, those are pretty bad ratings. D tackling. Would occasionally flatten offensive linemen in college, even in the pros. Opponents better not try to block him with a tight end or a running back. 24.6. B intangibles. I like the intangibles. Again, though, the certainty's only a 22, so we haven't scouted them a ton here. They all think we should take a quarterback because we only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, but I'm not really prepared to do that. So let's go to free safeties. Deshaun Polito. A+ technique, B+ IQ, C+ intangibles. Same thing for Knicks. No. I mean, Morse was set to go in the 2nd round, and it's currently the middle of the 3rd round. That F tackling out of a linebacker leaves me really concerned, though. Sam Leitner, D- tackling, A physique. Again, if you're going to have low ratings here, I would want the intangibles to be better, and especially when we're 94% certain on his ratings. Bruno Law. No. William KEEFER. Here's this. I like KEEFER. Wow. Good athleticism, good IQ, good intangibles, good intelligence, good speed, good hands. Not a great tackler, but maybe I don't know, is there such a thing as a rush defensive tackle? Because maybe a speed defensive tackle? Because that's kind of what he would be with the D- strength. But everything else looks pretty good, and he's young. So William KEEFER, I think, is going to be that pick for us here in the 3rd round. I'm not sure that it's going to be a great pick, but we'll see. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. Yeah, 51 overall. That was a bad pick. All right. Let's see what they think. They're probably not going to like it. Decent selection. Okay. Get to our next pick. We are 5th round, 9th pick overall in the 5th. They still want us to take a cornerback, or a quarterback, rather. Jeremy Law, D tackling. David Tarver, F tackling. I mean, I'm hoping maybe that guy was rated as low as he was because the strength wasn't where it should be. We don't need a wide receiver. I like looking at the skill positions, but that's not what I need right now. Coy Drake. B speed, B+ hands, C pass blocking, C run blocking. He's not very strong, but pretty good ratings. I think Coy Drake, 21-year-old out of Colorado, we will take here. $67 overall, not bad for a 5th round pick. Get to our next selection. Make that pick here in a second. All right, let's get to the war room. They still want us to take a quarterback. That's not going to happen, folks. Abel Ford. I like looking at this rating, too, because this kind of gives you an idea of where they slot in. Richard Gallant. We don't really need a center. Good strength, tackling, meh, speed, meh, hands, meh. Yeah, but he's a very strong linebacker. Victor Harris, good pass blocker, bad hands, good intangibles. We don't really need a tight end, though. Just watching the Cowboys and Niners here. Prescott slides in. That clock ran out, and that was the official's fault, I think. The official couldn't get out of the way and let Dak get to the ball. Let's see what happens here. That's going to be interesting. It's okay. While that's going on, I will make my pick here. They all think we should take the quarterback. I don't want to take the quarterback. We're just looking for depth. Are there any free safeties? Nick Aldrich. Oh, the game's over. Game is over. Cowboys lose to the 49ers. Huh. How about that? So the Cowboys blow it again. Wow, that was crazy. The lineman came in with 4 seconds left, respotted the ball, and that didn't give Prescott enough time to get the snap off. Cowboy fans are going to be pissed off. Oops. Let's pull up the defensive line here again. So we're in the 5th round. Let's look at all positions. Do we want Griffiths? I mean, at this point, we're looking for players who maybe have 1 or 2 things that look pretty solid. And he's pretty strong. So Trevor Griffiths. Sure, we will take him. I don't suspect it's going to be a terrific pick, but we'll see. 68 overall. Yep. All right, so next pick. Into the 7th round. This should be our last pick. And I was going to say, do we want a kicker? We don't want a kicker. So we will take F, pass blocking, D, run blocking. We will take Seth Rohr because he's got decent block ratings. 64 overall with our 7th pick. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. And that is the end of the draft. So now we get to the 2nd round of free agency. I guess quickly, let's once again take a look at our draft picks. So our 1st round pick was Sean Reed. Was it Sean Reed? No, he was our 2nd round pick. It was Malcolm Burt, 74 overall linebacker, 75 agility, 72 intelligence, 77 tackling, 74 speed. He's not going to pick a lot of balls off, but he should be a tackling machine for us. So we get ourselves a solid linebacker there. Sean Reed, we can line up opposite O'Keefe once Lawson is gone after this season. Our other 2nd round pick was whom? Was it an offensive lineman? It was Matthew Farley. Yeah, Matthew Farley, 74 overall guard. Yes, we drafted 4 linemen in this draft, all between 65 and 74, so not terrible. We drafted 3 linebackers, filled out some depth there. KEEFER was really the only pick I would say was bad in the 4th round, but he is only 20, so maybe he'll develop. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that draft. So let's get back into free agency now. And let's bid on some free agents here. $32 million to spend. Let's go back into free safeties because that was the position that we needed. We didn't really make a dent there in the draft. So we're going to make him a starter. And let's try 3 years and let's bump this up to like 11. And heavily front-loaded, so he'll make 13.75 this year. Are there any wide receivers of note? No, nobody really good. What about running backs? We still have a couple of decent running backs. Do we want Fournette to kind of be that complimentary back to Carter? I think we do. His hands are okay, but he's got good speed. He'll be a great 3rd down back with that strength. So I think we make a run at Leonard Fournette here. He wants 2 years, front loaded. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Oh, we needed a quarterback, right? So we got Bridgewater who wants 7 to 8, Cam who wants 3 to 7, arm, intelligence, accuracy. I think Cam. And let's bring Cam in. I'll potentially bring Cam in on a 1-year deal worth, I don't know, like 7. So Hyde, Fournette, and Cam Newton. So let's see if we can sign any of these players. So we signed Leonard Fournette. So that's good. Still no signing with Micah Hyde. There we go. We bring in Micah Hyde. 3 years at $11 million, so we have our new free safety. He's 32 already. I don't expect him to live out the length of that contract, but we had the money to spend. So now all we're waiting on is Cam Newton. And if he doesn't sign, we'll just pluck a third quarterback off of the free agent market after free agency is done. If he doesn't want to sign for $7 million, we're signing him for $500,000 in about 2 weeks. And he does not sign with us. So let's now go into free agents. J.J. Watt didn't sign with anybody. Wait, we didn't sign him, did he? We didn't sign Newton. He signed with somebody else? Yeah, he signed with somebody else. Okay. So let's sign a free agent. Free agent quarterback, excuse me. I think that will be Teddy Bridgewater. Let's bring him on. So we have a little bit of cap space to fill in some of these roles. And I'm tempted, but I'm not. Like, I'm not going to bring in J.J. Watt for $500,000. It's just, I don't understand why. I mean, I guess nobody signed him because nobody had the money to sign him. So, I mean, I understand that. But there's still a lot of talented players here in free agency that are looking to be signed that we just don't have any need for. Let's look at our roster real quick and make sure. Because, I mean, I could sign J.J. Watt, but I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. So we got Carter and Fournette as our 1-2 punch in the backfield, which I'm content with. Bolt is our starting quarterback. Bridgewater backing him up. Our starting guards will be Vera Tucker and either Farley or Montañez. We'll see which one develops better in training camp. Montañez is a bit better pass blocker. Farley a bit better run blocker. Tackles, we will go with Mekhi Becton and right now Edoga. Yep. McGovern will start at center. Marcotte will be our starting tight end. It might not hurt us to bring in another tight end because Herndon isn't fantastic. He's not a good blocker. Maybe we can find a blocking tight end. Wide receivers, we're good. I'm not going to, Corey Davis is our number 1. Braxton Berrios up to a 79, so he might be our number 2, but we have depth. We don't have any studs at wide receiver, but we have depth. Cornerback, we're in really good shape. Bryce Hall, Marker, yeah, I mean, we have three cornerbacks that are 80 or above in Lattimore, Hall, and Carter. Yeah, we're pretty good at cornerback. Linebacker, we made a big jump here in the offseason. C.J. Mosley, Blake Cashman, Malcolm Burt. Was our first-round pick. Defensive tackle, Davlin Tomlinson and Quinton Williams now up front. We're in really good shape with our starters there. Nathan Shepard will back them up. Defensive ends, O'Keefe and Lawson will still be the starters. Reed will be that third guy. And then next year, if we move on from Lawson, we'll have O'Keefe and Reed as our top 2. A couple of decent backups. Free safeties. Micah Hyde, now our starter. Ashton Davis, the backup. Strong safety, Keanu Neal with Jamian Sherwood. So, yeah, we don't need a lot. So, let's look at, I saw a couple of decent names in free agency. Let's look at tight ends. And there are no real good pass blocking tight ends, but Hunter Henry, we are going to bring him on, and he and Marcotte are going to be our 1-2 punch at tight end. So let's go ahead and sim ahead through training camps. Nobody on our team was on the list of negatives. LaMichael Perrine with a huge offseason, up to an 84 overall. Good for him. So if we look at the Jets, any of our rookies on here, Marcotte with good improvement. He's up to an 81. Where is Bolt? Not on the list. Montañez with a good good training camp. 7th round pick is going to be our starting tackle this season. We do need to re-sign him before the year's up, so that's something to keep in mind. Because he was a 7th-round pick, his contract was only like 2 years or something. William KEEFER. Okay, so he, showed some improvement there. In the 4th round, he's up to a 52 now, so hopefully that'll continue to grow. Sean Reed, up to a 77. Malcolm Burt, up to a 74. Okay. So that is, I think, going to be it for this episode, guys. I just wanted to get through the offseason. Next episode, which will come out on Wednesday as per usual, we will sim through the preseason, we'll set our rosters, and we will play game number 1. So I appreciate you watching, guys, and I know the guys over at GM Games appreciate the support as well, and we'll talk to everybody in a couple of days. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.